If you feel held back on your healing or spiritual journey, 10 to 1 says that you're lacking integration. The spiritual community is notorious for leaving that out of the equation, or for just blowing that word around without actually understanding what it means. Integration is stretching and strengthening your nervous system and your physical 3D body to be able to hold, compute, and translate everything that you're downloading. You see, if you just keep downloading, it's like drowning a sponge. It never absorbs and actually pops up and starts floating on top of the water, and it's got all this water underneath it, and it's like, look at all I know, but it's not actually holding it, and it's not actually being watered by it. It's just floating up above it. That's what happens to a lot of people. They just go from one healing modality to the next and have one past life regression after the next and one starseed meditation to the next, and they're getting all this information, and some of it's really amazing information, but nothing that we can't hold is ever going to be profound. As amazing as it is, it can't be profound for us in our lives or integrated unless we can actually hold it, carry it, and translate it in some way. So my favorite clients to work with are often people that are newer to spirituality because they don't think they know it all. So we get the opportunity to download, integrate. Some of the harder clients for me to work with are the ones that have done a lot of spiritual work but haven't integrated. And so they think they know everything. They know it, but really they're sitting on the water. They're the sponge bobbing on top of it. They're not actually owning it. They're not actually absorbing it. But they have the linear knowledge and understanding and experience of the awakening or the consciousness or the, whatever happened with them. So those clients can be very challenging because they are often very, very dysregulated in their nervous system, because all those activations without integration equals dysregulation. Activation with no integration equals dysregulation. And they're in that constant seeking phase, thinking that the next thing or the next thing or the next thing is going to heal them, when really what they need is the nourishment and the right conditions for them to integrate the knowings that resonate with them the most. And it's challenging to have that humility when you've done as much work on yourself as maybe you have. Maybe you've had 10, 20, 30 years. Maybe you've done ayahuasca ceremonies, maybe you've gone to all the spiritual meccas in the world and you feel like you know this stuff. So there's a sort of shame for still feeling broken and a fear of humility and a fear of like, well, maybe I need another approach with the wisdom I have, instead of I'm just gonna get that next piece of information, or I need that next, DNA linking download, or I need to know how special I was in a past life. And, all those things can be good, but they are false in so many ways. There's a lot of, people gaslight themselves and they gaslight each other. Humans do that, but in the spiritual community in particular, I see it around this topic where everyone's BSing one another. And I am a human bullshit detector, so I get really agitated around that energy. Not like I'm gonna get you, but it's like I get agitated away from it. And the clients that I work with are open, they're curious, they're humble, they've usually got some fight in them, and we go through our evolution of, them learning to trust me as a practitioner, them resisting, them holding on to some of their protection mechanisms that they're calling truth. And that's not a problem for me. I really understand that need to test your practitioner and to give pushback until you can feel, okay, she's strong, she's solid, she's true, she's walking her talk. But people that come in with that attitude of, I've done so much, I know so much. It's like, yeah, the more you know, the less you're growing. You're stagnating right now because you know so much, and it's paralyzing you, and severely dysregulating the nervous system. So I don't know why I wanted to pop on here and say that. I think I witnessed a lot of very dysregulated nervous systems and people that want to spiritualize that with, oh, I just need to connect my tuning fork to my starseed family. And it's like, no, that stuff's all real. In my world, starseed energy and past lives, like that stuff is all very real and palpable. But for the most part, if you are dysregulated, connecting to your starseed realm isn't going to do anything for you but add more data and more for you to download into a system that's not absorbing or translating that properly. So a lot of this mystical, magical, incredible work that we do is about nervous system regulation, which involves holding the self, being present with the self, speaking to the self, being in the body, and learning how to activate the parasympathetic nervous system while experiencing past traumas or even experiencing the downloads. It's really a beautiful experience when you embrace it, and it's so simple. But it's the place that so many people are afraid to go. They're afraid to hold those parts of them. They're afraid for it to be simple. They're afraid that there's not this big complex answer for why they feel the way they do. They're afraid that, it really just comes down to them needing to be held and nourished and have a true space held for them. And I think a lot of that comes down to shame. I think when we deep down feel like we're bad or wrong, or, we've felt alienated, we want to say, oh, it's because I'm from cosmic planet G and this and this and this, and my purpose is this, and this is why I feel this way. And though that can be part of it, the major part is always how we are with the self, and always how regulated we are. The regulation is like, when you're regulated, that's when you become the medicine, instead of just thinking about it, talking about it, reading about it, going back and forth with your spiritual friends about it. You actually become that living, breathing magic and medicine when you